What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wrestling Junkies podcast. I am Eric, Mr. Cincinnati Robinson. And this week, today, I'm sorry, you are not the podcast dad. I'm not calling you that. You are Mr. Philadelphia for one day only. Chris Hoops, my friend. How are we doing, buddy?
Big night tonight. Both of our respective teams playing on Monday Night Football. Unfortunately, Raw is going to get the small screen tonight because I have to watch my Eagles destroy the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. Oh, get ready. Get ready.
And I'm just praying for a miracle that we don't go in 3. Anyway, welcome to the Wrestling Junkies podcast.
Yeah, that's where you're at in your season already. That's a good start.
You know what? It's okay. By all accounts, Joey B is going to be playing. Game time decision, I know, but fingers crossed. I got a good feeling about tonight. So let's season begins today.
You see the patch right there. Joey B is no Nick Foles. I'll tell you that right now.
That's fine. I get that. Congratulations, you have a championship. I haven't won one yet. I get one back. That's fine. It's okay. It's all right. We got a great show for you guys today. We are going to try to keep this relatively short and sweet because, again, as you can see, we got some football to watch. But big story coming out last week between our episodes here. Another name has been added to the WWE list of releases. Matt Riddle has been released. He did post an official statement across all of his social media that he is no longer with WWE. What could have been? What could have been?
What could have been, and I think it's on. I don't know if I blame WWE for this one, for the what could have been. No. I think it's a lot of self-inflicted, wounds by Matt Riddle. I mean, he just had a lot of ups and downs in the company. I think he had all the talent in the world. I didn't really love Matt Riddle when he first came in the NXT. The gimmick was kind of weird and barefoot wrestling, whatever. But it really grew on me. He did very, very well in NXT. Came up to the main roster, was kind of a punchline at first, but then, it really hit his stride with the Randy Orton pairing, and it's just kind of been lost ever since with Randy going out. So, yeah, I think what if, but a lot of times we go, what if, like, the company would have pushed him? What if the company would have used him? They used Matt Riddle. I think he had so much going on outside of work, quote unquote, that just stopped and halted a bunch of his momentum throughout the years.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, especially with 2023, he did have some time off, or there was this suspension for violation of the wellness policy and some time spent in rehab for various issues. This one, I agree with you. This is not on WWE. I mean, I think that everybody is quick to blame WWE for any time that somebody with so much potential is released, and you have the shoulda, coulda, woulda. Much like we started this conversation. But yeah, there a lot of this was likely self-inflicted. Jim Ross always talks about the greatest ability being your availability. But we got to add reliability to that as well. You have to think that there are plenty of opportunities that could have been had for Matt Riddle. I know that he's held, tag team championships, U.S. title on a couple of occasions. Like, he's had opportunities to shine, but it's been tough to, buy into the machine, buying into him, just kind of given the out of the ring things that we've, seen with him over the last couple of years. And, it seems like it was just an enough is enough kind of scenario.
Yeah, and like, he's very, very talented. I think he'll, go to another company and do very well. But again, it's the self-inflicted stuff. Like, we look at somebody like a Dolph Ziggler, that guy could have been a superstar, but the company didn't get behind him. Like, WWE really, really tried to get behind Riddle. I think back to Extreme Rules. He main evented a pay-per-view with Seth Rollins and got the win.
Yeah.
Like, he beat Seth Rollins in a pay-per-view main event. And it looked like that was kind of the next step for Matt Riddle to go to the upper echelon, and it didn't work out. He had the match with Gunther and it was Money in the Bank, I think, which we thought was going to be awesome, and it was fine.
Yeah.
And it just didn't really lead to anything. So yeah, it's disappointing again to see anybody, or anytime anybody loses their job. If he wants to wrestle, I think he can go to another company. Is that AEW? Like, we talked about, somebody fitting in with the Blackpool Combat Club. I think he would be kind of that funny guy at the end, or is he not serious enough for it? Like, what do you think is
Yeah.
next for Matt Riddle?
That's a great question, just because, especially last week, it seems like when you looked at the list of releases that we had, it was easy to see a name and think to yourself, oh, perfect here, perfect there, and like have an idea of that. For Matt Riddle, it's a little bit murkier because, I mean, obviously, if he wanted to, he could go to or AEW. He could go to Impact. He could go to Japan. I could see going the way of Matt Cardona and just traveling around the Indies, just because I think that it's going to be hard for another major company to take a chance on him for certainly an extended period of time. I think given the way that he was released and everything that was kind of going on outside of the ring at about the same time, there's going to be more questions than answers for that sort of thing. So I could just see him taking a break from the major companies right now, just toward the independents, and if his head and his heart are still in wrestling, which I hope they are, because I think that he could do just about anything that he wants to in the wrestling business if he kept his head on straight. But I don't know. I think we have to see just kind of how everything else just plays out in his personal life.
Do you think this is the end of the releases for now? Or do you think we get any more? Because typically, I mean, it's usually all at once. They don't usually They don't usually come in waves. So that would kind of give me my only, I guess, hope that the releases are done for now. But we don't know with what Endeavor is, and we don't know what they think they're looking at, or how they value particular talents. I mean, hell, they're trying to get Vince McMahon out, so anybody's on the chopping block at this point. But yeah, I hope this is the end, because it sucks seeing people get released. And we always had that Black Wednesday or Black Monday or whatever it was, where we would see a massive talent release. And this one wasn't as bad as I think a lot of people were expecting. Yeah, there were some names on there that were a little surprising, but I think people that
but there
go ahead.
There's certainly other names that could have been considered, and probably, I mean, I'm not going to say should, but there are other ones that definitely could have been on that list that, it's just, I don't know. I think I am hesitant to say, but I think they're done for now. This is kind of the initial house cleaning. They've done it on the business side. They've now done it on the talent side. Now that it's happened, let's just see how the rest of 2023 treats us when it comes to the roster and utilization of talent, because I would have to imagine that they're probably back to that headspace of let's review talent every 90 days. I mean, that's definitely something they were doing down in NXT before the merger. Mm-hmm. It would not surprise me if they keep that train going, just, lean, mean corporate machine now, so
yeah, it's not
we'll see.
That's not a bad strategy. If you have some guys and gals that aren't particularly working in the WWE system, don't hold them there for the next 3 to 4 years. Like, let them go do their thing. Like,
yeah,
ultimately the way, everybody needs to look at it. And again, I'm not in their shoes. I don't know what it's like to get to the WWE and then get released. I don't know that. I don't have that perspective. But me being how I am, it's all right. Let's look at this as a positive. Like, look at this as an opportunity to go remake yourself, and then maybe down the road, WWE comes calling again. Like, you force them to call you again, and I think that would motivate me enough to go out there and absolutely kill it on the independent scene or whatever it needs to be.
Yeah. Also, real quick, shout out to Dylan at Last Week in Wrestling, joining us in the chats over there. Always good to hear from you, my friend.
Man?
But yeah, it's I don't know. I think that now that the new system is in place, definitely going to be more streamlined. I think that there's always going to be an evaluation of talent. There has to be with something like this. Publicly traded company. That there's other potential civil and or criminal issues that might be looming for certain members of that executive board. So head's just going to be on a swivel as far as everything they can do to, I think, remain as streamlined as possible. So we'll see. But I'm hopeful that the initial bloodletting is done. We'll see.
What size is your jersey?
Medium.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
What's wrong with my jersey?
Nothing. I look like I just got, I shoulder pad on mine. Let's move on to the next one. Got the extra large over here, and I'm swimming in it. Look ridiculous.
Well, no, you look great. You look great. At least yours has a Super Bowl patch on it, okay?
You can buy one with a Super Bowl patch. It's just, second place. There's a reason I have this Super Bowl patch and not last year's.
Anyway,
I love it.
Blow it out your ass.
Love.
Okay.
We're live, pal.
I know. I'm aware of that. I clicked the button,
Yeah, you do.
But yeah, so okay, my Bengals may be in second place, but in WWE's hearts and minds, John Cena is first place. John Cena, is he the greatest of all time?
WWE wise?
Just answer the question. Is he the greatest of all time? Because they seem to think that he is internally.
He's not the greatest wrestler of all time. Not at all.
No.
Is he the greatest that WWE has had? Yes. Yep.
Yeah. You'd be hard pressed to find that he hasn't surpassed Hogan or Austin for what he has done. And the only reason that for those that are watching, the only reason we were having this debate is because John Cena is listed internally on their roster as greatest of all time. So anytime that he's on SmackDown, anytime that he's going to make appearances where he's got to make a walk to the ring, they are going to refer to him as the greatest of all time before they say his name. Not sure why this is the case, but there you go. Yeah.
There's going to be a t-shirt soon that we'll probably buy at Fastlane.
Yeah, it's been a while since I had a new Cena shirt. Oh yeah, did we tell you we're going to Fastlane?
We are going to Fastlane, and we're probably going to get a John Cena match. How fun is that? Yeah, I think 100%. If you're talking WWE terms, John Cena is the GOAT. He is one of the reasons I think the company is where it is now. You look at John Cena, there's no scandals. Name anybody else that you would consider the face of WWE, the Mount Rushmore, anything like that. They have a scandal. Hulk Hogan, we know about Hulk Hogan. Steve Austin, he had the domestic violence issues. I don't know if The Rock has anything out there, but I don't consider The Rock the greatest of all time, WWE wise.
No, yeah. I mean, it was a hell of a run for him, but
it was. But it was only 3 years.
Yeah.
So you gotta look. John Cena did this for 2 decades.
Over a decade.
He was destroying it, and that was on 2 decades. Obviously he did it. In Cena Prime, it wasn't 2 decades, but yes, over a decade, where he was the face of that company. He was doing everything he could. He was, doing all those Make-A-Wishes. He was at every event that they had. He was down here in Cincinnati Saturday doing a workout. That guy does not sleep. Anything that company asked, John Cena did, and he did it with a smile. And he improved in the ring later on in his career, yes. And now that we can kind of look back at it and look back at his career, there is nobody, and come at me if you have somebody, but I don't think there's anybody that would have been able to carry the ball like John Cena did for his stretch run like he did.
Yeah. And, when we're talking about Make-A-Wish, most wishes granted of any celebrity in the history of the organization, and he had to be talked into, and he had to be talked into publicizing that he does these sorts of things, for the company. It was just something that he wanted to do. 15 world championships, and, that's all one company. Yes, there have been different iterations of the world title, but it's all been in the same company. Whereas when it comes to Ric Flair, we talk about various promotions, and some of those initial world title runs get a little bit murky. So, to do all of that in, again, 20 years, the same company, love him or hate him, you showed up to either cheer him or you showed up to boo him. Very few people that are that polarizing. And even now in 2023, do you hear a single person booing John Cena?
Nope.
much like you said, I mean, he's carried the company on his back. It's a guy living his lifelong dream, and he has always taken that so seriously. And to have that type of run, it's just I don't know. I don't know that it'll be replicated. I just don't.
And the other thing too is when we talk about the other men that you would want on that, a Ric Flair, a Stone Cold, a Hulk Hogan, a Rock, what do all of those guys have in common? Can you tell me?
Marketability, charisma.
They all had competition that they had to compete with. There were other companies when those guys were on top. Cena was
Sure.
the guy in the biggest wrestling company in the world, and the next was Impact.
True.
Like, he had so much pressure on him to be the best because he was the top dog and the only game in town. And if you weren't going to do it, they were going to knock you down and somebody else was going to come take it, no matter what. So they put all their eggs into the John Cena basket, and it worked. And that's a testament to him. So, yes, when they call him the GOAT, I will say GOAT of WWE. Like,
Sure.
we can have a debate on greatest wrestler of all time. But how many T-shirts did the man sell? Like, the guy
He's always got a new one every time he comes back. I mean, there are very few people that have that longevity. There's always new Cena merch rolled out because it is going to appeal to kids, and every kid is just going to want to be John Cena.
I mean, he's had a match every year for the last 23 years. Like,
yeah.
I don't think there's an argument. I've seen some argument online. I think people are taking it a little bit too literal when they're saying GOAT. Like, he's not the greatest of all time. And again, I'm going to fully admit he's not. WWE wise, for everything that he's done for that company, he is the greatest of all time for that company.
Yeah. And that's, certainly not saying greatest wrestler of all time. No, not at all. However, but when you talk about well-rounded as far as look, charisma, star power, marketability, all of those things just cannot be replicated when it comes to John Cena.
Commitment. The guy came back from a torn pec in 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, nobody else is doing that.
No. I mean, I cannot think of any other surprise return sooner than expected since that. And if there is one, definitely let us know in the comments. It's just one's not coming to mind right now.
Yeah, and yes, we went through the Super Cena phase, and it was annoying. And guess what?
Yeah.
It happened, but I think when you go back and you look at the alternatives that they had to carry that company, I don't know if any of them would.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to argue, and very clearly they're going to run with this for a while. Even on SmackDown during Rey Mysterio's match, they referred to him as the best of all time, but, making sure not to lessen from what they called Cena earlier in the night. So I don't know. It's just interesting, but like you said, marketability, I guess. It's kind of odd that they're just kind of deciding to do this out of nowhere. But hey, new company, pal.
Since I figure they're doing it since he's going to be around for a while, and they want to sell merch. That's what I see it as. Because he's got
that's fair
10 more dates or something left on this schedule, like something like that, something crazy.
At least through all of October, he's.
And how awesome is it?
He's around.
That the GOAT is going to get the tag with LA Knight at Fastlane.
Yeah.
That's hopefully pretty cool. Hopefully LA Knight gets better. He was originally supposed to. I think Sean Ross Sapp reported that he was originally supposed to save John Cena at the contract signing, but he has COVID. Apparently, like right before the show. Obviously, we wish LA Knight a speedy recovery.
Yes.
COVID is a little bit of a, I think a touchy subject in the wrestling world, especially after Bray Wyatt. So, hopefully you get, LA Knight's good. And when he comes back, he's good to go. I just think since Bray Wyatt passed, you hear COVID and you get a little bit more, fearful, since Bray passed and his complications with COVID that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Speed recovery to LA Knight. Definitely hoping that he's good to go for Fastlane. Another interesting tag team was also formed on SmackDown this week, if you recall.
Yes, I do. You have in the notes, and I'm going to call you out for this one. Hope you're ready.
Okay.
You have Theory and Austin as a tag team. I think it's the same person.
Yeah. If you will have noticed, I have edited it since then, but I appreciate the.
I took a screenshot.
The call out here.
I always have to get you, no matter what. But yes, Theory and Waller as a tag team. I like it. I mean, they're two big mouth, good looking guys that I want to punch in the face. Pair them up.
Facts. Yeah.
What else is Austin Theory doing?
Yeah, seriously. I think that this could help him out when it comes to his mic work, I think. Mm-hmm. Again, they're cocky, they're douchey. I mean, I could see Theory having a bit of a presence on Grayson Waller effect, basically that kind of Carson and Ed McMahon kind of vibe where there's that playing off of each other kind of thing. I could see that happening. It's I don't necessarily see them becoming tag team champions or anything like that right away, but
why not?
What's that?
Why not?
It's Judgment Day time right now.
That's going to break sooner than later, and that could be that's I think a team that could kind of cheat to win and then put a little bit more of a divide with Judgment Day. Like that seems like a credible team, and in a world full of not so credible teams in the WWE. That
you say that to the Viking Raiders.
I will. You're not a credible team. Great match last week. I will say that, but you're not a credible team.
Yeah, right.
I wish you were. I really do, but you're not at the moment.
I know.
But yeah, I could see them. If they keep this pairing, I could definitely see them winning the tag titles. Because imagine how annoying these two would be with tag titles.
That is a lot of gold.
Silver.
I said that just because I knew that you'd correct me.
I know what you did. Whoa, that was quick. Kick the desk.
Okay, all right.
We're live, pal.
It's fair. You know what? I know that we're live. I clicked the button.
Yes.
Yeah. There we go. But yeah, what do you guys think about Grayson Waller and Austin Theory becoming a tag team? Can you see them winning the tag team titles? Let us know in the comments down below. Yeah, let's move on to AEW, man. Let's talk a little bit of AEW. We're on a bit of a time crunch here today. Yep. Hooday, fly Eagles fly. Rampage and Collision set us up for a couple of solid matches with WrestleDream. We have looked at this card a little bit, and we're going to do a full breakdown of the show this Wednesday when the PCW champion, the Frat Daddy, Bryce Cannon, joins the show. But right now, we've got 9 matches announced, bud. I know that you had a chance to read the card before we hit the air today. What do you think?
It looks like a pretty solid card. I'm still interested to see if Adam Cole will be ready for the card. I don't think we have much of an update since he was in the hospital with the crutches. But I'm going to save, obviously, the bulk of the preview for when Bryce is on. We are very excited that he is gracing us with his presence. He is a very busy man.
Seriously.
Shout out to him. Won another world title over the weekend. Great job, Bryce.
Gold everywhere.
I also have that toy ring that you bought. It's a pretty cool one. The real scale ring from WrestleMania 1. Man, that was a hot ticket item when I was growing up. Glad to see you have it. I have no idea where mine is, but that was a hot ticket growing up. But yeah, no, this card looks good. 9 matches. I don't know if they add any more. I think the match that I am most looking forward to, and just a little preview of the preview, is Swerve and Hangman. I'm very interested to see who wins that match, because I think this could be a huge test to see what they have in Swerve in a main event kind of atmosphere, main event kind of match. So I'm excited to see that one the most.
Yeah, I that's definitely one of them for me. I mean, Hangman is something that you can sink his teeth into. It feels like it's been a while since there's been a solid blood feud, with somebody. I think Mox is kind of the last one that comes to mind for me anyway. So I think that they have a lot that they can do here, especially if Swerve eventually starts targeting the Bucks, depending on where they go in that fatal four-way match for the number one contendership for the tag team titles. I did.
You did. Good job.
Yeah. But also Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr. Why not? Like, just come on. That's just gonna be a technical masterclass. Sit and take notes. So I can't wait.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. The 4-way too, I am very excited for. I think that'll be kind of a crazy match, and also excited for Statlander to get on the pay-per-view. I know she's going against Julia Hart. Okay, but Statlander getting her due on a pay-per-view, I think, is going to be very good, and I really do think like this is going to be a huge back end of the year for Statlander going into the new year.
Yeah, I would agree. Julia Hart's definitely coming along in the ring. She had a great match with Kiera Hogan on Collision the other night. Yes, I actually watched Collision. Definitely not Saturday night at 8, but I did watch Collision. So I am liking how they're using House of Black on that show. And Gun Club too, man. Collision is their show. They don't need Chick Magnet. Like the Bullet Club Gold can hold that down. Also Jay White and Andrade tore the house down Saturday night too. That's a must watch for you.
Yeah, I saw highlights and clips of that one. Andrade is going to need some friends here soon, so I'm excited to see who he brings in or brings over from AAA or whatever. But I'm very pumped for this card. It seems like we're going to get the 12 cards a year from AEW, so let's see if we can not get burnt out. Let's see if this one's, are they now going to start pacing these a little bit better? Or Sunday night is a tough one to go 5 hours, to go into 1 in the morning on a Sunday night. So I think there'll be some tweaking from AEW and maybe with the buy rates and that kind of stuff. We'll see what they do.
Yeah. Actually, that brings up a good question. Are you feeling any sort of pay-per-view fatigue from AEW at all right now? Coming off of All In, All Out, we got WrestleDream coming up. We know Full Gear will be in November. How are you feeling?
I would say no, because I've grown up with the WWE model of pay-per-views every month. Sometimes 3 weeks go by and there's another pay-per-view. So I would say no because I'm used to it. I would say as a whole, I am a little fatigued on pay-per-views with 2 companies going. That's 24 pay-per-views in a calendar year for these 2 companies. So maybe a little bit on that end. You also throw in, ROH, and now you got to throw in NXT. Like, there are a lot of pay-per-views, premium live events that we're going to have to watch moving forward. As long as the wrestling stays the same, I should be okay. Yeah. When WCW took the downturn, you watch some of those later shows, they were just crap.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't turn into that. Hopefully there's no overexposure. I think both of these rosters are big enough where we won't get that. But yeah. I would say not yet.
Okay.
Maybe getting there though.
Yeah, no, I will say I won't say fatigue, but I'm honestly surprised that WrestleDream is this close, because it just feels like just yesterday when they announced that at All In. So I think that it's going to take me some getting used to, for sure. I'm also selfishly hoping for a streaming network model that Max will hopefully just start incorporating all of these into their Bleacher Report sports add-on. But we shall see, man. We shall see. Shout out to everybody that's in the chats today that's been listening to the show. We appreciate you joining us. As always, like, share, subscribe, hit that QR code in the top left corner. Follow us. We love talking professional. But we both have some Monday Night Football Philadelphia. You got any final thoughts on this weekend in wrestling as we gear up for a new week, my friend?
Yeah, I do. A big week coming for the Junkies podcast. Stay with us. We got a lot going on this weekend. Eric's going to keep announcing that on social media, but a lot of good stuff coming this week. A lot of good stuff that is coming down the pike. Also, shout out to my son, who won the baby crawling contest at the 1-year-old's birthday party on Sunday. Number 1 in my book. Won the grand prize. Shout out to you, my boy. Proudest moment I've had as a dad so far. As we put all the babies down, they all start crying. My daughter looks around, starts clapping, and then my son takes off. It was what a moment. What a moment for me.
I gotta say, I love that. I'm mostly disappointed that you waited until the end of the show to even mention that, but there's really no better way to go out than that. So thanks so much for joining us this evening. For Mr. Philadelphia, I am Mr. Cincinnati. Hooday, fly Eagles fly. I'll say it for you. This has been the Wrestling Junkies podcast. Thank you guys so very much. Remember, like, share, subscribe, do that thing. We will talk to you guys soon.
Goodbye.